Hey guys, how's it going? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, so we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, see what's in store for the week ahead. And we're also going to take a look at something that hasn't happened in over 7 months with regards to Bitcoin and its price action. So let's dive into this video and check that out.
Trade Genius.
Guys, here's another trade we took before we dive into this Bitcoin charts. This was on REN BTC. We signaled this out, and it was a nice short hold for about 10% gain. And again, we do this all week long in the room. We also do our binary options, which we just closed out. We're now 139 wins, 8 losses on that high probability Forex system program. So if you guys are interested in any of those or both of them, head over to tradelikeagenius.com and check out our offerings. We also have a special coupon code, so you could save 40% off on getting into the room. All right, now heading over to Bitcoin. If we take a look at the monthly chart, Bitcoin did something that it hasn't done in a while. We're in a new month, so this is the current bar, but last month was the first time we made a higher close than the previous month in over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Okay, that was the last time that happened. Now, subsequently, that bar had kind of helped put in a floor for a while in prices. That was around that 6K level, and then that finally broke down and gave us this current trading range that we're in our big fight area playground box that we highlighted back when we got down in here and said we weren't really going to blow through this. We're probably going to put up a fight in here, which currently has been going on for the last 3 to 4 months. So it is noteworthy considering that we've now had basically, when you look at from the top, I like to see, there's usually waves of 3. So you have like this first push down, consolidates. This is another push down, and then you have a third push down. So a lot of times I will take a look at moves, macro moves in that scenario. And so when I see like we have 3 pushes, and this one was pretty violent, but that was the first push down. This one was more elongated, second push down, and then another breakdown here. So to me, that's like a good cycle as far as current bear market. So what we would really be amazing to see would be another month of green. We haven't had that. It goes even farther back to these 2 consecutive months at the top of the bull market. So I do think it's worthy to note, again, when we go and we look at basically the volume profile here, we're still, a breakdown of the lows would take us down. We still have these fib targets down here in the low 2,500 to 2,300. So technically speaking, from a technical analysis standpoint, those are still a possibility. Now, if we start seeing monthly closes, which would be the next thing we'd look for now. So we got a higher close. Okay, that's one thing. But now what we want to see, and we did make a higher high on the monthly, okay, but we didn't get a higher close. So higher highs are one thing, but really what we want to see is a close above a previous month high. To me, that's the more powerful indicator. So that's what we'd be looking for. We get that, and I think then we could probably start talking about on a larger scale a move back up to this area that we lost support at 6,000 to 6,200. So we are in this volume node here. And so again, the levels in this area are going to be key, because if we break down, obviously we can zip real quick like we zip through here down to these fib targets, or vice versa. We have this big volume node here, and we'll drill down into the smaller time frames. But you can see where if we start gaining momentum, there isn't a lot here on this volume node to stop us from getting and retesting these prior highs. Now, if we drill down to the weekly time frame, okay, so we have this bearish pennant, and normally bearish pennants will, rule of thumb is you're going to break down in the direction that preceded the formation. And in this case, we're kind of fighting that. This was holding, and now we're kind of, we came out of that Normally on a weekly, guys, shooting star would be bearish if we rolled over. However, we did not confirm the price action there. So this is actually just a continuation now pattern. And we're butting our head up. This is the resistance level at 38.80 approximately on Coinbase. And we're starting to butt our head above that. So I'm looking for a close above that level on the weekly, guys. Okay. So we're going to see how this week plays out as far as, does the volume look like it's falling off? I mean, it does look here, but this week just started. So let's see how this week plays out and see if we get more volume here. I think that's going to bode pretty well for the bulls, okay? Especially if we can get a close above a prior high. We actually did that on the weekly here. Weekly closing above prior highs has been a kind of a rare thing, but we are starting to see more of that now with the weekly chart. So things are looking a little more bullish on the weekly side for Bitcoin. Again, everyone was thinking that we're going to basically, you know, take out this low and we got another move down. I'm thinking that, you know, because the herd, you know, is usually wrong, that if this is a bottom here, that's pretty plausible. And again, that's this low of 31.28. Okay. What was interesting though is when we did make this run up here to 4,200, how it seemed like social media flipped really bullish really quickly, and that got immediately rejected. So again, the herd is usually wrong, and that's why I think as far as this being a bottom has decent probabilities at this point. So weekly, again, we're right up against resistance, and then if that breaks, next thing we'd be looking at is 4,200. Now, drilling down to a smaller time frame, we're still going to see liquidity issues. If you look at for the hourly, for example, again, here's an example of what I like to see on a nice fluid moving market on the hourly. Okay, this is nice hourly moves. We have our momentum line, comes back, touches the momentum line, gets a decent bounce. Those are things that are nice, high probability plays when the market's moving and it has nice volume. When the volume drops off, so you can see the volume here, when the volume drops off like it does here, we get these very, very tiny bars. That's where you're going to get a very illiquid move or a stop hunt. And that's what happens here. We get another move up, BART's up, comes up, and then rolls back over pretty hard. And then we start getting into more of that very illiquid type hourly ranges, okay? And then you get these moves out of them real quick and then back up. Again, another bar here where, I mean, basically stop hunted both sides of the range here, but very small, very tight range. So you can trade these, okay? These are tradable, but when you start seeing this, now you got to drill down to like a 15-minute chart or something like that, and then you can play the channel, all right? But a lot of times we're until we start seeing more of a normal market where we see this action here, you're going to get into these periods where it gets really quiet, really tight, and then sudden moves in and out, which have been, you know, as far as Bitcoin's price action, that's normal to get into these periods of times where it kind of goes sideways and things like that. But I think these moves, these stop hunt moves, have gotten more violent with the rise of leverage exchanges and things like that. So what's been a little nicer to look at is this is a 4-hour chart, and you're going to see kind of the same thing where you have like these kind of tight ranges pop out, boom, back up, tight range, decent move up here, stop, hunt, tight range, stop, hunt. Okay, so what I like to do is go to like a larger time frame. This is a 4-hour, so we can jump to a 12-hour, all right? And that's where I start seeing a little better price movement. And what I like, you know, how I like to basically, you know, evaluate the charts, I think it's a little nicer to look at a 12-hour at this point on Bitcoin for the midterm ranges. Now, this trend line actually has been interesting because price has been reacting off of it, okay? So it's good to keep, you know, draw this on your charts and keep that there because, you know, price has been reacting off of that, caught my eye. Again, you know, price level wise on this chart here, obviously this area here is kind of holding support in this range, broke down and broke back above it. We pulled back. I actually think this 3,700 area would be a decent spot to buy a pullback based on how this came through, broke, came back above. A lot of times you're going to see something like this happen, come back, test that prior area of support, and then move up into this resistance area at about 3,900. Okay. This area here, I still believe we're going to probably get a run to this trend line and possibly a head fake over it. There's going to be a lot of stops in this area of this bar here. Okay. So I still think that's game for the next couple of weeks, actually. So, as far as, everything price action wise and volume wise, so he's got a nice uptick in volume through this area here. So, and we have a nice decent formation here, a bit of an inverted head and shoulders in this section here. Okay, so I am leaning bullish as far as this time period to sort of make a move up into this area here, possibly head fake out of this trend line. And this trend line is part of this overall resistance here. It's been really a lid on this thing. And so that would be a big deal, I think, if we broke out of that, which has been basically holding every single price action, whether it was a move up or consolidation sideways, but has just been a very bearish force on the price of Bitcoin. So there you have it, guys. That's what I'm expecting this week. Again, to recap, we are up against some resistance. If this doesn't hold around 3,900, we should expect to see a move up into retesting this area and retesting this trend line based on price action here and volume. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
Trade Genius.